Hey guys, what's up? I am 100% positive that the best way to know if you want to become a physician is to shadow a physician. So I went out, kind of put myself out there, asked a few physicians, and I got a call back, which is super exciting because they're dumb busy and everything. And so I just wanted to give you a quick video over my early experience of shadowing. I get to do it for about a month or so. Let's get into it. This is Conrad in the making. So first off, how did I find a physician to shadow? Well, that proved to be the most challenging part. You know, physicians are busy, they have procedures they're doing if they're specialists, they've got patients all day, they've got, if you know a physician, you know it's not just them in clinic all the time. And so they go and have a myriad of things to do. I myself am taking 2 summer courses, and I'm working on the side and also trying to volunteer as well and just have a little bit of time to myself. So the schedules were packed on both sides, and so that was really the most challenging part, was trying to find a time that worked for both me and him, the physician that I am shadowing now. First step for you guys if you're looking for someone to shadow is, if you have a family friend or family member that's a physician, go to them first. If you do have that resource, you're super lucky. I didn't have it. None of my family is in medicine, at least as a physician. And so I then went to my primary care doctor, my family doctor, and unfortunately that didn't work out either, because he already has a program with the university I'm at right now where he gives shadowing time to students that go through an internship, and the hours for that didn't really work out with my schedule, so I wasn't able to do that. And plus I really don't have that great of a relationship with him just because I'm younger. I don't go to the doctor near as often, so he probably doesn't know me near as well. I then went to ask a pediatric office, a pediatrician's office. They have multiple pediatricians there. I went there as I was a younger child. They had about 3 people I was really targeting to try and shadow, and I never heard a call back from them either, and they also had programs with the university to allow students to come in and have some experience with pediatric population. So it's really tough getting out there at first, trying to find someone to shadow. It can be disheartening whenever you go after what in my experience was my 4th physician after that, and really getting no luck whatsoever. So I didn't have any luck with those. I also reached contact to a physician, a family practice doctor that was in my hometown, just about 15 minutes down the road from here, and had no luck there, at least not yet. And then where I really struck luck was next door to where I work as a scribe, is a family doctor practice over there. And so I asked the doctor I was working for, hey, do you know the physician over there? What's he like? Do you think he would take on any shadowing? And he actually gave a good word for me, and I reached out contact, and they got back to me and said, hey, yeah, we can bring you in for, even if you just need Thursday afternoons from 1:45 to close, we can bring you in for about a month, once a week or so. And I was incredibly grateful for that, and it really kind of helped me gain some motivation back, because I had to be really persistent to go after this, but it's totally worth it to get a scribe or a shadow opportunity like this. So how did I do it exactly? Well, a lot of physicians have emails, but I wasn't really confident necessarily that they were ones they regularly checked or ones that they could get back with because they're so busy. So I intentionally wrote letters. I had my picture on them and everything that just kind of detailed why I wanted to shadow a family practice doctor, a primary care doctor, and why, where I was at in my academic career, just a couple of what my GPA looks like, what I'm hoping, when I'm hoping to get into med school, everything like that. Just kind of a brief, short, 1-page thing. And I put it in envelopes and just stopped by the practices and dropped off the letters personally. And so I really wanted to be intentional about it and ensure that at least got into the hands of someone that could read it. And that's really how I did that. And it really brought me some luck, I guess, because now I have an opportunity and they read it and they're bringing me on. So when I showed up for my first day, I really wanted to be observant, obviously give a good impression, be incredibly respectful and gracious to the clinical staff there in his practice. And so I went ahead and showed up in scrubs, just in case he wasn't wearing that, obviously. But yeah, I was just trying to, really blend into the environment. And I really wanted to observe what the clinical practice is like. And it was a lot like my doctor's practice that I scribe for. And so the nurses, they'll bring back patients, they'll fill out some chart work, get their vitals and things like that, and then they'll prep them ready for the doctor to see them. And then he goes in, they made sure to get consent from all of the patients there that were, I almost said victims, all the patients there that I could shadow while I was in the room with them. And so what I really focused on was the family doctor's therapeutic communication skills, how he was giving good feedback to make sure that he was listening while he was also typing on a computer. And he did that remarkably. His patients loved him. I've heard it from the patients, the nurses, and he really gives time to the patients, which I thought was incredible. It's not just an in and out. He sits down and has a real encounter with them, goes through their history, goes through every piece of their medical issues they're going through, and how they're doing with that. And I was really impressed with how his practice is set up, because he has a lot of advanced practice nurses as nurse practitioners there that work with him, and they usually deal more with the acute illnesses such as flu, coughs, really smaller scale things like that. And he really gets to spend a lot of his passion and his time in chronic illnesses such as like thyroid issues for a lot of women, diabetes, high blood pressures, things like that. And so it was really remarkable to see how his practice is set up, and then he gives himself a lot of time to sit down with these really complex patients and gives them the best care, really. And I was really impressed with just the small things that he taught me while I was there. It's really important, I believe, to not say much, if anything at all, in the room, in the patient room, the exam room. Maybe just introduce yourself and that's it. But because you really are a shadow, a fly on the wall, so to speak, and you want to make sure you respect the doctor's practice in there. But once you're out of the room, I really just started unloading all the questions I had just to make sure I was paying attention. I thought through some questions while I was in the exam room with them. And one of the really incredible things I learned is that he really makes a point to use the physical exam part of his care or his encounter, right? So a lot of times doctors that I've been in, they'll run through a review of systems, the history of present illness, obviously their assessment, their diagnosis, and their plan of care. But sometimes they skip over the physical exam where they're actually examining you. And he makes sure to do that specifically because he says more often than not, you're not going to find anything, but it's really important that you rule out certain things that you don't want to surprise you or the patient later. And these are big issue things, checking for bruits and carotid arteries, making sure respirations, heart rate, and then you've got peripheral circulation as well as central. And so it was really eye-opening to see how thorough he was and how much he made sure that his patients knew that he cared for them, that he was going to be their provider in every system, throughout their lives. All in all, I loved it. It was an incredible experience, and I'm not done yet. I've still got about 3 to 4 more sessions with him. Really just thankful for the opportunity, honestly. It's an amazing opportunity to see what just day-to-day little things look like for a family care practice, and a lot of my perspective changed for family practice, and I'm really attracted to it now. I just love the idea of it, of the relationships and the trust you build with patients and the community, and I think it's huge. They're doing an awesome job there, and I was really thankful that he took me on and that he's really receptive to all my questions. I would highly encourage you guys to go check it out if you have the opportunity to shadow any physician, really, but especially family practice. I would make that really intentional, just to see their approach and see how they interact with their patients. But yeah, it's just a short video I wanted to bring to you guys over my smaller clinical experience. I was thinking about making a guideline of like what to expect on shadowing days, things like that. Maybe that'll be there in the future, maybe not. But thank you guys for watching. Keep the community, guys. Go out there and just crush it. I'll see you in the next one.